Good morning, happy Wednesday, and happy first day of April. I cannot believe we made it. April has always been my favorite month of the year, so I'm super excited that we're finally in April. Okay, couple of things as you guys start reading the play today. Okay, we are starting to read the Crucible. I want to warn you that the first couple of questions that are on your study guide, which is going to be your homework, okay, I've got it pulled up here. The first couple of questions, so like questions 1 through 4, I believe, they actually come from that introduction that you guys read for your homework yesterday. So you had to read like the start of the play. I told you Arthur Miller likes to kind of write these big long prose sections. Okay, so in that first prose section, you're going to find these first 4 questions. Now, to access the play, just want to remind you on the notes that I went through yesterday, the very last slide, there's this link. Okay, so this link will actually bring you to a digital copy of the play. And I know it's not super fancy or pretty or anything, but at least it's there. Okay, and you guys can kind of take a look at that. But I did want to talk through just a couple of things that we learned in our reading from yesterday and that we kind of learned in that introduction part. So the first one, I want to talk about this character, Reverend Parris, okay, because he's going to be one of the main characters in the play, and obviously his family is kind of a catalyst for this whole Salem witch trial thing. And we actually learn a lot about him in the introduction, and this is in like the first paragraph. Okay, so this first paragraph right here, you can see it kind of starts to talk about Parris. So we learn that he's in his middle 40s. Okay, but look at what these next couple of lines say. In history, he cut a villainous path. Okay, he's referred to as a villain, and his actions are villainous. And there is very little good to be said of him. This is the minister of the town that we're talking about. Okay, he believed he was being persecuted, so people were like condemning him, right? Everywhere that he went, despite his best efforts to win people and God to his side. In meeting, okay, and this would be like in a meeting house. That's where Puritans met. That was like their church. It's called a meeting house. In meeting, he felt insulted if someone rose to shut the door without first asking his permission. He was a widower with no interest in children or talent with them. He regarded them as young adults, and until this strange crisis, he, like the rest of Salem, never conceived that the children were anything but thankful for being permitted to walk straight, eyes slightly lowered, arms at their sides, and mouth shut until bidden to speak. Okay, so this is not like a super warm, fuzzy man, right? He is the embodiment of the Puritans. He's really cold, he's really calculating, he expects to be respected and listened to. Okay, we also learn about the town and kind of what Salem is like in this introduction as well. So I want to point out a couple of things. His house stood in a town, but today we would hardly call it a village. Okay, so that's just kind of indicating how small this quote unquote town really is. It's very, very tiny. And then, see, I'm looking at my book, sorry. And then this paragraph right here kind of describes what the town people are like, right? No one can really know what their lives were like. They had no novelists and would not have permitted anyone to read a novel if one were handy. Okay, so there's no fun, like I mentioned, no fun of any kind. Their creed forbade anything resembling a theater or vain enjoyment. They did not celebrate Christmas, and a holiday from work meant only that they must concentrate even more upon prayer. Okay, and this was really the Puritan belief, right? They didn't do anything that was fun. The only like book that they would have had to read would have been the Bible. It's really interesting because these children that we're going to see at the start of the play, they're caught dancing in the woods, right? They're caught having fun. And there are there's some other clues that I'm not going to give away that make the people think that this is witchcraft, but really these kids are just trying to break out of these constraints that their society has set upon them. So I just kind of wanted to point out those two things, right? We have a very cold, calculating, mean minister, and this town itself is not very warm and friendly and fun. So these poor girls are trapped kind of in this cage of a town, and with this cage of a minister who is the father to 2 of the main girls. So one other thing I wanted to point out to you guys as you read through the play, anytime you see italics like this, Okay, these are called stage directions. I know some of you know this already, but for those of you that don't know, stage directions are just basically for the director of the play as he or she are trying to kind of build the set and figure out where all of the actors are going to move. It just tells what's going on in the script. Sorry, my dog apparently sees a human outside. And then for today, so you guys, Kona, come here. So for today, you guys, you want to see my dog? Come here. Come say hi to everybody. Here. Yes. Oh, she's like, nope, let's continue barking. Okay, Kona, stop barking. So for today, you guys are starting to read Act 1. And you guys are going to basically read, I haven't figured out the page number on this version, I'm sorry. If you're in your textbook, you're reading to page 840, but essentially your study guide, you need to get to question 29 for today. Okay, that'll be about halfway through Act 1. So you do not need to use complete sentences for the study guide. Okay, I'm giving you that grace. You can just write in like bullet point ideas, but you want to get to question 29, and not all the acts are going to be this long. Okay, we are doing all of the acts in 2 days, but Act 1 is definitely the longest. I promise they will start to get a little bit shorter as we continue through. Okay, so you're getting to question 29 today, so just read until you get there, and you will make sure you're filling this out. You don't have to like submit it to the study guide assignment. I'll just open it and check to make sure that you got to 29 as like your attendance for the day. And I think that's all that I have for you guys. So if you have any questions for me, if anything in the play is confusing as you're reading, feel free to hop onto my office hours. Remember, from 9:50 to 10:40. You can feel free to hop on tomorrow morning too and ask me about questions from today's lesson. And I will do kind of like a mini review in my video tomorrow, just to make sure that you guys caught some of the key points that I wanted you to catch as you were reading through the first half of Act 1. So that's all I got for you. Good luck, get to reading, and have fun. This is such a fun play, and I really think you'll enjoy it. Talk to you tomorrow.